Welcome to Modern Explorer, and in this video we're going to go over an update since we're getting really close to heading out there, myself personally, to meet up with Glenn down in the research and investigation area. And we're going to be using some of the gear I talked about. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up really quick. Well, really quick for you because I'm going to fast forward this and pretty slow for me. And then I'm going to show you how it works, and we're going to go over some of the ways it's going to be employed. All right, let's get started. All right, now that we have it set up, I can show you just like standalone. What's really neat about it is it can be operated like this. Now granted, the way this is normally employed, this gimbal, is for video, so you're not necessarily wanting to be a distance from the unit itself in order to get some pretty cool shots. But the way we're going to be using it in this application to look for Sasquatch, or the North American hominid, the Na, is we're going to actually have like a very nice FLIR unit attached to it. And one of our partners, someone that's actually like bought and is loaning this equipment to us, Steve, he's the one that's sent this equipment to us because he believes in Modern Explorer and our cause, and thinks that we can actually be successful in this. So I'm very thankful for that and the trust, and hopefully he's right, and we're going to give it our all and see what we can do. So anyway, obviously as standalone, it's nice. You know, it's a very nice unit for getting video footage. Normally a camera would be attached to here, like a DSLR, a mirrorless. But for now, we have the FLIR unit. That's, like I said before, it's a very good FLIR unit. You know, like it sees at the 60 hertz, which means like its refresh rate is on kin with no lag whatsoever when you're using handheld. It has a focus ring, so it allows us to focus on things to get even better detail if we do see something in our target sites. So overall, the FLIR itself, as far as components go and hardware, is good. It's what we need. I will say FLIR though, like if you're going to get like a unit, maybe look for something else different than FLIR. So far, we have a couple of these units, and we've been really disappointed in them. For the amount of money you're putting into this, you're not getting as much out of it, in my opinion, when you could go for something like ATN, which we're going to look into the road, and get a lot better equipment and easier to use, especially software too. The FLIR here has given us a lot of problems, and we've only recently been able to find workarounds, and they're not the best workarounds, but they'll work for right now until we can hopefully get something better or find a better workaround per se. So the great thing about this is that we attach it again like combined together, and this gives us really silent, so you can't hear it, motor systems, because it's used right like on video cameras, so they want it to be quiet, so that's going to work for us, because that allows us to quietly employ these and move them around if need be. And of course, the focus wheel can be operated by this little wheel right here. Now, this isn't going to help us as it is right now, correct? Because if we're going to be out in the field holding this thing up, trying to get video, these hominids, they're just going to like hide themselves as they normally do, right? So this setup, the way it is right now, isn't very effective. So let's get to stage 2 of this setup. The next stage of this setup is we can control it wirelessly, and we can actually view the camera wirelessly as well. Another con with the FLIR, there's still a lag wirelessly, which is sad that like you can go get like a DJI drone, fly it for like 4 miles and still have no lag whatsoever between like the screen and this. And this one, you're just a few feet away and you're experiencing lag through like the feed, the live feed. So it's something we're gonna have to work around. I don't know how it's gonna work like in the actual field. We're going to find out, but that is another drawback and you can't record it wirelessly. You can only view. So you have basically we have to be recording the whole time, which is another downer, I guess you could say. Anyway, let's try setting this up. So the gimbal is on right now, as you can tell. And the way I've had this set up is it actually will connect to an Xbox controller. So let's turn this on. And let's I don't know if it actually connects on its own, because this is kind of my first time employing it, or if if I have to do something each time. Let's see. All right, so I can either do it from the phone itself or from the controller. And obviously, we're going to want to do it from the controller. So as you can tell right now we can actually do this at a distance. Not a very far distance, but we don't need to employ this at a far distance for what we're going to be doing. So this is good news. This is good news. Now, another hurdle that we're running into, and if any of you have any answers, let me know, is I cannot get the focus wheel to work using like either the phone or the controller. And the biggest problem that we're running into is I can get the focus wheel to work on here because I can set it manually. All right, through like the focus wheel here. But when I try to do it on the phone or on the controller, the problem I run into is that it has to do it automatically, and because what I believe is going on is this focus ring, right, of the lens is much smaller than a regular camera. It thinks something's wrong when it tries to do the autofocus of the ring itself. And so I can't manually focus the range the way I can on the wheel on these two devices to make this work effectively. And I've tried going into DJI help forums for the last month now to get some advice on any recommendations of what I can do, and so far nothing. So if you guys have an idea or a solution, a workaround for this, that would be great. It's not the end of the world, but if let's say we are employing this and they come close by, if we can't focus, we're going to miss out on some really nice crucial detail that could, make or break this operation. So anyway, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you basically the next step, the final step to make this all work, and how it's going to be employed. All right. Now, as it is, and as I hypothesized before, the reason I think that the North American hominids don't get close to anything like with an iris or an eye is just that they're ambush predators. They're intelligent. Anything that looks like an eye, they're going to try to avoid, right? Because they don't want to be seen. So I think it's as simple as that, honestly. And that's why we have them coming up to like recorders that record audio, but anything that seems to have an iris or an eye, like they either are very aggressive towards, like whether it's your phone pointing at them, whether it's like a scope, whether like you name it, versus other technology that they come up to like recorders and another tech out like your vehicle, heck, and it doesn't seem to bother them at all. So I don't think it's that they're technology averse in any way. I think it's just the eye. Same with game cams. Those trail cams, they have that iris, they have that eye. So there's a reason I think they're staying away, and I think it's just like it looks like an eye. They think they might be seen, and I guess they're not wrong in that case. So the next step is, how do we get all of this to be working, to be used, and not let them see it? And this is where the thermal reigns supreme in this aspects, because the thermal can see through thin plastic, in fact, really well. And I'm going to show you. Okay, so I'm going to turn it on right now. Okay. So, all right, so here you can see how it looked like with the thermal, with no obstruction whatsoever. But now what we're going to do is we're going to add a thin piece of plastic on this thing, okay? And as you can tell, you can still see me. I'm still very well visible here. And this This is going to be the key to what I am confident is going to be great success. Okay? So now, as you're seeing, we can hide the whole gimbal, the whole thermal. We can hide this whole unit in a bag system. We're going to be building a little cage for this that's going to go over here so that the gimbal can operate around, but it can still see through this. And so we're hiding and masking any type of view of the lens itself. Okay? So I'm sure there's a lot of questions here, and I'm going to answer them. Some of those questions, right, being, well, isn't this going to be like really obvious and smell strange and just be like a dead giveaway, stay away? And I think you're absolutely right. But that's where it comes down to how we're going to employ this, all right? Because we're not going to employ this out in the middle of nowhere, hope that they pass by. Because I think that's going to stick out like a sore thumb and they're just going to probably stay away from it. No, we're going to use this in a setting that's most advantageous to us, all right? Because let's face it, we can't win trying to compete on their turf, right? So let's understand one of their weaknesses. That's also their greatest strength. One of their weaknesses that we can use as a baseline is that they're curious. They come to camps, they come up to people. That's how we catch them. You know, that's how we see them. That's how we have these interactions, rock throwing, peeping in windows. They're curious. They're curious about people, and that's something that I think like is really easy to see and something that's been very successful to me and a lot of people that all they do is they go out and camp and they have these interactions, and that's how like they've built out their whole strategy. So in that sense, you're kind of like you become the attention grabber. So you are the bait, right? So you create the setting to attract them in, and this is going to be the easiest way to have interactions with them for anyone in the future. And that does take time because they have to be around, they have to be interested, they have to feel like safe enough to get close. But if you get all those parameters correctly, they're going to come up into camp and say hello. You may not know it until like they've been there for a long time. They start like throwing rocks at you or looking in your window, making noise because now they want your attention because they've gone comfortable enough with you. But that's the best way to bring them in. So in that setting, you have the advantage because now you are the distraction. You are the one that they're coming into. And so you can set things up the way you want to with less concern of smells and visuals, okay? Because now they're going to get all kinds of different smells when they come in, right? Because you're there with all kinds of equipment, food, you name it. So something like this is going to be harder to detect or even know what it means. Secondly, you're going to have a bunch of gear out like you normally do when you're camping. So something like this sitting out there in a bag is going to go a long way because it's going to be much less noticed or like even seen as something that might be threatening. So basically the way this is going to be employed is it's going to be on a tripod on top of one of the vehicles at a high point looking around the camp itself with the bag on top. And so what I'm hoping to do, and the way to employ this, is when they come in, they're going to go to the tree line first. They're going to take these avenues of approach where they have good egress routes and where it's hard for you to see them. And this is where we act our part. We're just going to chill around the fire, chill in a vehicle. Being relaxed and having fun is probably the best behavior to have in this situation because that's something they can relate to, and the less threatening you are, the more likely they're going to feel to be able to get closer to you. Because they want to see, they're curious, just like you, just like you're curious about them. I know it seems complicated at first, but it's really simple. So anyway, when they get closer, out of their curiosity, or for whatever reason that's bringing them closer, we'll be able to be scanning here as we're just chilling around the fire or in our vehicles, and hopefully pick up some good imagery. What I'm hoping for is that they'll get close enough and we'll be able to use the focus wheel, that we'll actually get good detail. Because I don't want them just to come to the wood line. I don't want them, just to be at a distance. I want them to try to get as close as they can, open it up to make it easy for them to get there, so that this can catch them as they're coming to try to sneak up on us and check us out. Because if we can get really close shots of following them, seeing them move through the environment, then I think that's going to be awesome. Like that's going to be a lot more convincing for a lot of people. That's going to help me and other people like me that like to study like behaviors in order to understand their movements and how to better approach them. And who knows, you know, like there's a lot of like things we don't know about them. Maybe they think we can see them when they're throwing these pebbles at us or these rocks in the woods, and when we look in that direction, maybe they're actually making some body language, some gesture. We don't know, right? That just freaks us out and we're out. But this, hypothetically speaking, might be able to give us those answers. We might be able to see, oh, when those pebbles come at us or when something occurs, maybe they're doing a lot more. Maybe they've been trying to communicate with us a lot more complexly than we assumed. We just assume like they just assume that we can see them when they're letting us know that they're there. And so we look in the direction, maybe they're waving at us, maybe they're doing some gesture that's going to help us understand what the next thing to do. And maybe these hominids won't be as scary when we have these confrontations. So this is, I think, is the way forward. And using this along with like employing like these really amazing drones with like really nice like thermal payloads, even better than this thermal optics, I think will show us even more. Like to get aerial view, watching how they navigate through the environment. If we can get that, that's going to be huge. That is going to be absolutely huge. You know, like just understanding how they use the environment, their behaviors through it, how they employ like the terrain. Oh man, like this is a big deal. Like this could potentially give us the information we need to be able to do this over and over again successfully and build this rapport and, you know, have that actual like real face-to-face first contact the way, you know, like you would with an uncontacted tribe or like primate group, like a gorilla or a chimpanzee in the wild. Like that's how like huge and monumental this could potentially lead to and be. So those are some of the kinks I'm trying to work out. If you have any ideas, let me know. That's how it's going to be employed. I'm going to be actually going down there next week if everything goes right, and employing this out in the field to see how it goes, and that'll also teach me and all of us a lot of how better to use this gear and its capabilities. On top of that, that's it for now. But there's a lot more gear coming. I'll try to do a video with Glenn. He's leading the charge for getting the audio system set up. Like he has a whole like array of audio systems and parabolic mics that he's created, and even like 3D printed some of his own. So we have a lot of cool stuff coming to the table, and just really looking forward to it. And again, like we need your support. Please like and subscribe and put that notification button on. That's going to help us a lot. Because like I said, like at this point, it comes down to being able to do this again. And that comes down to being able to actually go out there and spend a lot of time out there, which requires being able to have like the capital and the resources to do that. So anything helps, like join the membership, get some perks that are there. You get to hear me, like I like to update that a lot and just talk about like just things that I think about and the way I'm employing them in the field, and things that have been effective for me and brought me some success. So being a member will help us out. So that wraps it up for now. I'm going to be going down there, like I said earlier, for probably maybe 5 days to start the preliminary recon of the area. And I'm going to be doing the same thing that brought me a lot of success up in my neck of the woods with interacting with this hominid species. And hopefully if we do get the same type of success that I did, we can actually employ these capable assets to get some amazing documentation. Anyway, ask questions, message. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, and definitely put that notification button. If you don't put that notification button on for the channel, you don't know when we have a new video out, and that definitely like is unfortunate for both us and you. So, yeah, thank you so much for your support, and this is ramping up. I'm excited. Till next time.